I am invisibly disabled, and truthfully, I am an exponentially greater artist now than I was when I was fully abled. Here are the 5 irreplaceable things that invisible disability has taught me about creativity. Thank you so much for being here. You are so valued. This is part 2 of a 2-part series on invisible disability, as I am a person currently living with invisible disability due to the effects of severe rheumatoid arthritis, RA. My name is Jenny Velarde. I am a psychotherapist, and just as importantly, I'm an artist. Now, if you haven't watched the first video, please be sure to pause here and watch it now. It gives a lot of context, and it's all about my wild journey with RA and becoming invisibly disabled. It's the nitty-gritty. So I think it's fair to say this experience has hurled at me some monumental challenges and a tidal wave of seeming limitations to my abilities, creative and otherwise, pretty much everything. Those of you who have RA, know what I'm talking about. And it could have been very tempting to feel like my artist role was becoming smaller and smaller and kind of closing in on itself, disappearing. But here's the surprise, the raw truth. Being invisibly disabled has honed, it has strength trained, it has made savvy and exponentially multiplied my creativity like I have never experienced before. So now, before we jump in here, please consider subscribing so I get to see you again and again. And just as importantly, please share this with someone who might need it. Here are 5 lessons invisible disability has taught me about creativity. Get clever with limitations. As my body started to rapidly change with the onset of RA, I started to rapidly lose abilities that seemed to previously come pretty natural to me. So this was really tough in the beginning on the psyche because everything seemed to be slipping away so fast. It felt like that scene in The Wiz where Diana Ross is trying to catch a cab and they're all driving away from her and she's left stranded. Do you know what I'm talking about? For me, because I have so many art forms that I engage in regularly, many of which I've done professionally at different points, they all seem to be disappearing at once, leaving me feeling like I was stranded. I am a visual artist, an actor, a director, a writer, a puppeteer, a scenic artist, a filmmaker, a guitarist. I will come back to that in a second. And every single one of these things was being radically compromised by my changing body. The loss of being able to use my fingers properly, for example. I could barely hold a fork properly. I mean, this is still the case, let alone a paintbrush. I couldn't stand up for long periods of time. So when opportunities to act or to direct were presented to me, I had to start declining them. And this felt really tough for me. This was really intense. It felt like limitations were kind of sucker punching me right and left. And the limitation that hit me almost immediately was playing the guitar. Now, I have played the electric guitar since age 13. And at the time, just before everything with RA was about to really hit hard and heavy, the stuff that I explained in the first video, I was smack dab in the process of learning the Joe Walsh, Don Felder guitar duet from Hotel California. This is a 39-bar guitar duet, and P.S., you may think that Hotel California is overrated or overplayed. I get it, but please listen to it again with headphones on. This is an American masterpiece. So I had worked my way almost to the halfway point of learning this massive guitar piece, and RA hit hard on my left hand, so hard and fast that I couldn't close it anymore. And as of today, I cannot bend the middle finger on this hand at all. So my hand couldn't hold a chord structure anymore. And this was such a heartbreak. I can't even explain what a heartbreak this was. This broke my heart. But here's the thing with all of my art forms. I am not just going to willingly let them go. I am going to fight for every single one of them. I am going to be like Rocky fighting Apollo twice and befriending him afterwards, of course. So I had to get clever with my limitations. With guitar, for example, it dawned on me this summer that I have always wanted to learn lap guitar. So this is where the guitar is played on your lap in front of you, and instead of holding the chord structure, you use a slide with this hand. And I realized that this may be just right because I can't close this hand, so I might be able to manipulate a slide. So I got one, and I cannot tell you how good it felt that first day to be in relationship with a guitar again. Though it is not perfect, though I still miss the standard electric guitar, though I am having to train my motor skills and it still hurts like heck to do, because everything hurts to do, because everything with RA hurts. I was able to write a song in the first half hour, and now I am in the process of learning the whole 39 bars of the Hotel California guitar duet on lap guitar. I will keep you updated. Self-doubt? Yeah, no. When you begin to lose everything, at least in my experience, you realize how much you actually have. As things started to get harder and harder and more painful, I realized how much I had been blessed with in terms of creative ability and ability in general. So for example, I always agonized over writing. I second-guessed myself into oblivion, doubting myself constantly. So is this good enough? Will anyone relate to this? Is this okay? To put it plainly, is this just crap? Scripts, fiction, articles, academic writing, drowning in self-doubt and leaving a ton of projects unfinished because of that. But all of a sudden, when every single click on a keyboard sends a shockwave through your whole body, self-doubt starts to have a different hold pretty fast, because honestly, when it comes to writing, at this point, I don't know for sure how many clicks that these hands have left in them. My doctor recently described every single joint in both of my hands, and this is a little bit graphic, as bone on bone and quote unquote very bad. So with this in mind, and without self-doubt taking up so much darn space, my writing has become prolific, meaning that I am pumping out a ton of it. Articles, short stories, I'm working on a screenplay right now. These videos, they are all written. The procrastination system that I created, that alone was nearly 90 pages of painstakingly researched, crafted, scripted material. And this phenomenon has been with all of my art forms. Knowing that the abilities that I have currently, they're not promised. None of ours are. And this has melted away self-doubt so extremely now that I need to leverage and enjoy and cherish what I still can do. Also, and this is huge, before I always felt so crunched for time, like I was constantly running behind, and I would doubt and be so critical of my work that the act of self-doubt would actually take up way more time than me just actually doing the work itself. So now I view time totally differently. I feel so fortunate to have time and so grateful to get to use it, to play with it, to create with it, to serve with it, to put prayer front and center and continually keep asking, okay, so how are we going to use this week or today or this morning or right now? So self-doubt, yeah, no, I don't have time for that. Give the brain what it wants. Imagination. So being so sick and in such wicked pain, I had to be laying down astronomically more than I have ever had to be in my life. All I could do was barely travel to my office to work and come home and lay down. And it reached this capacity point that I couldn't sit and ingest any more Netflix or the news. So I began to just turn off everything and just lay there and just let my mind wander and actually give my brain the space it wanted to just move around. And as I began doing this more and more regularly, instead of turning on something to watch or scrolling through the phone, I started to notice that my imagination started to expand. And I am talking like off the charts in the most potent way that I have ever experienced as an adult. And in fact, it started to remind me of the way that my imagination would naturally function so incredibly vividly in childhood. So now this is something that I totally crave and I look forward to. I let the brain have what it is craving, time to imagine. So do you want to try this? I would love to see what comes up for you if you do. So where to start? Try by putting down the phone. Little bits at a time every day. Build up that consistency. And for more detail about this and how to do this and the neuroscience behind it, if you pick up your phone again, here is a video on scrolling and the way it actually impacts the brain. Rest comes first. Always. This is the most 180-degree lesson that I have learned, and quite possibly the most critical. Now, simply put, if you want to get incredible, sustainable, creative work done, it is entirely doable, but rest always has to come first. Not sometimes, always. So opposite of what many of us have been taught. Oh my gosh, so opposite of what I used to believe. But truly, that's the foundation that you have to build on. And for me, that was the missing piece. I had no idea. I had no clue. Now, remember when I said I wrote almost 90 pages for the procrastination system, something that I could not have done without rest first, by the way. This is the bedrock that the system is built up from, and it's detailed out in a very tangible, structured, systematic way, and it walks you through this process. So please, please check this out if chronic procrastination is in your life, because it's not worth living for the rest of your life with this as a day-to-day. The procrastination system is a resource that if you commit to it and put it to use, it will totally transform your creative work. And with every purchase of the procrastination system, a minimum of 25% is invested into artist development and community building and different organizations supporting underestimated artists, supporting specific creators and projects. And there are periods where 100% of all profits go to a particular cause. So please follow me on Instagram and jump on the mailing list at artistasguide.com for those very specific updates. And in the meantime, remember, put rest first always. You can't creatively work sustainably without it. And it has been how I have been able to continue to create consistently with invisible disability. It's the only way. And last, and I love this one, unabashedly encourage other artists. Unabashedly encourage the creativity of those around you. In other words, run, don't walk to celebrate other artists, the art makers that you genuinely love and admire and appreciate. So kind of within the same vein of the self-doubt concept and myself realizing how many abilities that I have actually been blessed with, being invisibly disabled has supercharged my capacity to vividly see the abilities and blessings of the people around me. And it's like, wow, you can do that, or you have that gifting, or you have that skill set. You are blessed to do that. I am in awe. And my clients, oh my gosh, they shock me every day. They always have. With their outrageous talents and abilities, I love working with them and just witnessing their giftings. I feel like the people, the artists around me have now become technicolored. And in those moments when the people around me in my life are swimming in self-doubt and jealousy and envy and comparison, I just wish sometimes that I could just gently take people lovingly, yet squarely by the shoulders and say, do you realize what you can do? literally what you have the capacity to do. Because when it comes naturally to us, when it's our gift, we can sometimes forget and underestimate and beat the heck out of ourselves and bully our own abilities. And sorry to be a broken record, but this is a massive part of the procrastination system, walking through this thoughtfully and tenderly and deconstructing this learned behavior piece by piece. So now, I just want to unabashedly encourage other artists and not play it cool, because here, I'm going on a little soapbox here. I really believe that now more than ever, due to a social media culture, we are being unconsciously conditioned to play it cool with showing encouragement to others, to be reserved and play the game with likes and hearts and comments and kind of holding them back, whatever it may be. But here's the thing, playing it cool, I will say it right now, it's not cool. And at the end of the day, we just hurt and restrict ourselves, our artist roles, by doing that. So enthusiastically encourage others. And trust me, this doesn't ensure that people will do it back for you, but that's okay, because that's not what it's about. You do it anyway. Be a radical uplifter to the creative people around you. And be so grateful for those who are consistently doing it for you. From the start of Artist's Guide, I have had a consistent core of around 25 or 30 people that have been such unabashed cheerleaders for this work, this channel. Not playing it cool, watching the videos, watching the episodes, liking everything, commenting, emailing me directly with just the most unbelievable feedback. And I will tell you, I could list them all off right now with ease, because I am so grateful to them. In fact, I might actually do that in an upcoming Instagram post. I think that would be a good use of social media. So if you are one of those people, you have made such a radical difference for me. Thank you so much. And a quick, massive thank you to my cousin, Brendan. Easily he is my greatest. Easily he is my greatest champion, and he is the real deal. He is a true blue example of living a life that exemplifies everything in this episode. He is just a reflection of God. So much love to you. So now, more than ever, I really try to do this for others. I don't do it perfectly, but I try and do it for others. And even more importantly, I try to do it in real life, not just through a screen. So in other words, go out of your way to suggest people for jobs or creative gigs, or write reference letters for people, or introduce people, make connections. And enthusiasm for others can be in any capacity. I'd love to hear your examples. Here are a couple quick examples in my life. I was a barista for 10 years. And yesterday I got an Americano that was so well crafted that I had to pull my car over 2 minutes after leaving the coffee shop and personally call and thank the barista that made it for me. It was a work of art. Another example, one of the greatest things about this year for me was coming across the photography of Ivan McClellan. Look in the description box below for his website. In my personal opinion, he's the greatest photographer of all time. His work is what my eyes have been craving my whole life. I don't walk to like his work. I run the second I see something new posted, because I'm so appreciative of his God-given ability. So a shout out to him and his family, his beautiful family. I will link his website below. And here's the wonderful twist. I would have never have come across his art form had he not liked a drawing of mine, this piece. And ironically, it is meant to symbolize my journey with invisible disability and rheumatoid arthritis. Amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here and for being open to strength training, to honing, and to expanding your artist role. Now, did any of these lessons from Invisible Disability resonate for you today? And more importantly, what are some of the lessons that you have picked up along the way in your journey? Please comment below. I cannot wait to hear. Now go and create. You were created to. What would your life look like without procrastination holding you back. The procrastination system, a 6-hour, 5-segment system built of 20 dynamic and digestible chapters. It's an engaged 360-degree process that guides you through self-reflection to pinpoint your specific version of procrastination. It's carefully curated with a massive collection of tools and thought shifts to effectively transform your procrastination from inaction into traction, reinforced by up-to-date neuroscience that helps us to understand procrastination from a cognitive level. Let's transform your procrastination. The link's below. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. If this episode was useful, I would love for you to hit the like button and perhaps share it with somebody. For more tool-based, actionable, creative content, please make sure to subscribe. Also, if you have a question about creativity or the artist role that you would like to have answered, please leave it in the comments below and it may be featured in an upcoming episode.